Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a farmer's market in Minecraft, step by step, block by block, for all of your city building needs. Despite the fact that this is quite a small build, there's a lot going on, so let me show you what we've got. Our farmer's market has 12 different stands/stalls that come in a variety of shapes and sizes, selling a wide range of products. In the center of it all, we have a seating area and a fountain. I have also incorporated several vehicles into this build as well. I felt the need to mention that. By the way, I was hidden somewhere in the intro of this video. This does not count. If you spotted me, leave a comment down below. The first person to find me will have their comment pinned. Also, did you spot the super secret sign? If you did, what did it say? This is the amount of space required to make the build. I would recommend copying this grid into your world, and if you do, to find the starting position for the tutorial, start at the front left hand corner of the grid and then count inwards diagonally towards the center and find the 5th block. That is where we start. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin the build by digging a row of 21 extending to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Then dig backwards by 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then dig across the back and line up with the front of the build we have just got there, and then dig all the way towards the front and join back to where we first started. Then replace all of that with stone. This is going to be the outside of our path that leads all the way around our market. Believe it or not, this will make making the rest of the market significantly easier. So now that we have a rectangle, we want to dig and remove 2 more rows from inside of our rectangle. And this will give us the basic shape of our path. Our path, or path, if you're fancy, is 3 rows wide. Perfect. So now we can just replace all of that grass with stone. And I will say now that I did experiment with making the path a little bit fancier, a little bit more realistic, adding some stairs blocks here and there, adding some buttons, making the path like an irregular shape. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I found that no matter what I did, I prefer this incredibly simply designed path. I wouldn't change it, but you can. And whilst we're at it, we may as well make the entrance path by extending this left side all the way forwards to the edge of the grid. And this is how we will walk into the market. It basically just looks like a letter P now. But now that we have made our P, we are going to come all the way up. That didn't sound right. Moving on. Starting at the front left-hand corner of the grass space in the middle, we want to count to the right and find the 8th block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then count towards the center and find the 6th block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can remove this block, and the one below, I do believe. We can then place a polished andesite block in this hole with an anvil on top, a lodestone on top of that, and then a polished tough wall on top of that. If placed correctly, and it seems as though we have, that should be the very center of our grass area. So now that we have done this, we are going to dig around the outside of our lodestone in a circle, like so, or a square, I guess. And then we are going to place polished andesite slab in the empty space. We will then dig around the andesite slab, and we will replace those blocks with smooth stone. Then we will place iron bars on top of the smooth stone. I'm always tempted to say iron for some reason. Then we can place light grey candles on top of every other iron bar. No, I was doing so well. It was going so smooth. Just like this. Then we can add water here, and that will give us a simple fountain. And as we're here, we can add a simple seating arrangement both in front and behind the fountain by leaving a gap of 1 from the middle, placing an oak fence, brown carpet on top, and then oak stairs in front of and behind the fence, and then stick oak signs on the sides of the oak stairs, just like this. Do this in front of and behind the fountain. Perfect. Then, on this side, I'm going to add a lamppost by leaving a gap of 1 from this seat and placing 1, 2, polished blackstone wall on top of each other, then a beacon on top of that, and black carpet on top of that. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 2 on the left side, 1, 2, and then place a cauldron with an oak trapdoor on top of the cauldron. And then on this side, I am not going to add the light, although I do believe we could. Let's add the light just to try it. I didn't do this in the original, but we'll do the same thing. We'll leave just a gap of 1, place the light, and then on the right leave a gap of 2, and then we can place the cauldron with the trapdoor. I am highly considering removing the water until later because the noise is honestly driving me crazy. Why don't we just do this? You know what? I think that looks better. Later, we will add some stands and stalls around this area, but for now, I want to move on and work on the structure of the welcome sign. So, to begin, we will place a row of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 oak fence extending up from the corner of this path here, and then just on the opposite side, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will then connect the fence together at the top using oak fence gate like this, and then we will place some oak shelves across the top, just like so. We can add some hay bales on this left side here, which looks pretty good. And we can add some pots on this side of the build. So we've got a large pot here, which for some reason does... There we go. A large pot here, which I'm just going to stick a fern in here. Oak sapling here. Maybe like just a regular fern over here. Maybe a bit of grass over here and here. Something like this looks nice. I don't really want to overdo it. Next, everybody's least favorite part of the tutorial. The dreaded sign. Throw down limb, open it up, place a white banner in there with black dye. First of all, we have to make the letter F. This is the Pale Dexter pattern, Chief, and then Fast pattern. Next is A. This is Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, Chief, and then Fess. Next is R. This is Pale Dexter, Chief, and then Bend. Next is M. This is the inverted chevron pattern. Put white dye in there. Apply the Chief indented pattern. Black dye back in. Apply Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, and that's it. Next is E. This is Pale Dexter, Chief, Fess, Base. Next is S. This is Chief, Base, and Bend. Next is K. This is Pale Dexter, Bend, and Bend Sinister. And then the last letter, I believe, is Chief, and then Pale. And then we have to make a unique banner, which is done by placing a black banner in there with green dye, apply the Pale pattern, grab that, put that back in, black dye in, apply the Chief pattern, grab that, put that back in, stick red dye in there, and apply the Per-Fess inverted pattern, grab that, and, well, that's it. Get out of here. Right, so now all we have to do is apply our banners to our sign, and the way that we'll do it is by placing F, A, R, M, E, R, S, leave a space, and then M, A, R, K, E, T, and then the unique banner. Oh, by the way, that's meant to be an apple or a tomato, or you know what? You can even use your imagination. What do you guys think that looks like? By the way, we will actually need this banner again later, so either stick it here where you can grab it or just, stick it in your inventory or something. However, for the rest of these, goodbye. I think that it's probably about time that we make the actual market. Heading back inside underneath our wonderful sign, we can make our first stand/stall by lining up with the back of this hay bale, leaving a gap of 1, and then flipping up a spruce trapdoor in this position. Place 3 trapdoors to the right of it, 1, 2, 3. Flip another one up on the opposite side. Behind these, we will stack 1, 2, 3 spruce trapdoors, like this, on top of each other, and the same on the opposite side, so 1, 2, 3, just like this. Then, we want to place 3 spruce fence here, 1, 2, 3, and 3 here, 1, 2, 3, with a barrier block in between the top pair. To give yourself a barrier, if you are on Java at least, all you have to do is /give space your name space Minecraft : barrier, and there you will have a barrier. We can then move to the front of our stand, where we will place a series of spruce signs across the top here, with some spruce shelves just underneath, so you can see that we have this really cool depth effect with how we have placed all of this. We can then place a couple of item frames here. We also want to place a series of spruce trapdoors across the top of this section as well, actually, so let me just shave that one off there. And that is perfect. And just whilst we have these blocks, I'm going to stick a flower pot here, sea pickle here, I was about to call it a pickle for some reason, and then a brewing stand here. Then we can just add some brown candles here, green candles here, and you can add them in any quantity that you like. And I'm just going to fill the back portion of this in with potions. And there you go. A pretty interesting looking stand, if I do say so myself. To the right of this, we will leave a gap of 1 from this trapdoor, and then place a pumpkin. Extend the pumpkin up 1, and forwards 1, and place sea pickles on whichever pumpkins you are able. Then, right of this pumpkin, place an orange terracotta, orange concrete, and then an orange concrete powder. Place spruce shelves on top of these blocks, and then clad the orange blocks with spruce trapdoors, just all the way around, like so. Then we can just fill the shelves in with pumpkins, and I think that this stand is pretty self-explanatory. I just thought of something that I wanted to add. Leave a gap of 1 to the right of the pumpkin stand and place either a row of 2 hay bales or a row of 2 leaves. Extend the leaves/hay bales 1 row backwards, throw down loom, open it up, black banner in there with green dye, apply the pale pattern, put black dye in, apply the chief pattern, orange dye, Per-Fess inverted. There we have a pumpkin banner, which I am proudly going to display here. And that's That's it. That's what I wanted to add. That wasn't on the original version of the market, but I thought it'd be fun. The next stand is placed opposite the pumpkin stand in the middle section here. Leave a gap of 2 from this corner, 1, 2, and then place 1, 2, 3 lecterns in a row with item frames in front of the lecterns. Then place oak signs either side of the lecterns like this, and flower pots on the lecterns. Then stack 3, 1, 2, 3 oak fence here, 1, 2, 3 oak fence here with a barrier in between them. Place oak signs across the top here, just like so. And then we can just add some peripheral stuff like a flower pot. Why is that here? I can't remember placing a flower pot here. I'm just gonna remove that. So we can stick a decorated pot here with a flower pot inside of it. I guess you could even have it. No, we're not gonna do it. We could have like just like a fern around here or something. Maybe just add a little bit of plant life. Stick like an acacia sapling inside the decorated pot. On this side of the build, I'm thinking we stack a couple, or rather just one oak fence like this, with a couple of leaves on top. I've went for azalea for something a little bit different, but then we can stick like a flower pot off here to the side with like a dark oak sapling in it or something, or maybe we can even like spread it out a little bit, but I don't want to go too far away from the stand. And then for the stand itself, which I don't know why it's taken us so long to get to this, we have to fill all of these plant pots in with flowers. So I'm just going with dandelion, poppy, and blue orchid. And then the item frames, allium, cornflower, and azure bluettes, just so that it's like a nice spread of colours. I think that looks pretty good. And now that I'm looking at this, I actually think a little bit of leaf litter might look nice just around the outside here. Maybe even like, I suppose this is a bit more tropical. It's probably a little insane to add some like drip leaves, but definitely a little bit of leaf litter I think would look nice, or maybe even a little bit of moss might look good too. You could even place it just on the path too, but not too much of it, I guess. And that is the flower stall pretty much complete. So next we are going to make a general drinks stand by placing a flipped up oak trapdoor here, leave a gap of 1, place another. Then we can place oak slabs connecting the two together and then extend them 1 row backwards. Stick oak trapdoors at the front and back on the opposite side here, and then add some dark oak fence gates at the end like this. Then you can either leave it like this, I'm not sure which I prefer, we're going to find out, and then we can stick some dark oak signs just on the sides like this. Now we have this plant pot here which prevents us from doing this to the front, but I think that that's fine. And then we can stick a couple of barrels up top here with some different colour of pressure plates on top. And then we can stick either like tripwire hooks behind these, or on the sides, or even on the front of these, or maybe just in front of one. Tripwire hooks somewhere is the general premise of this. And then we can stick, say, like a brewing stand here, and then just like a flower pot and some sea pickles, just to kind of illustrate that this is a drinks stand. That's it. With our drink stand complete, we can now head all the way over to the end of our path and begin work on our fruit/vegetable stand. To find the position for this, we start at the front left-hand corner of this path, extend inwards diagonally, and place a stripped spruce block in this position. We then extend to the right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then backwards by 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we can just extend across the back and join all the way to the front, like this. We can then place 2 spruce fence on top of every corner, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We then will connect the front and back pair of spruce fence together just on the sides like this. And optionally, you can do this on the front as well, and the back if you're going to do it on the front. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not even 100% certain that I like the fence gate attaching everything together, we'll take a look at this in a second with and without, but sometimes I find that the simpler design is the one that I usually like better. Across the top of the front of our fence/fence gate, we will place alternating mangrove slabs and pale oak slabs just from one side to the other. And we'll do the same on the back, so mangrove, pale oak, across the front/the back. Now, in between these, we will place red wool in between the mangrove slabs and white wool in between the pale oak slabs, like this. We will then place a layer of string both in front of and behind our slabs, just like this, just one row lower than the slabs themselves, and we will stick red carpet in front of the mangrove slabs and white carpet in between, like this. Next, we are going to place a couple of mycelium here, surrounded by spruce trapdoors. And I'm just going to stick a couple of mushrooms in the mycelium, any that you like. I just realised that we never compared the stand with and without the fence gates. So here is a perfect side-by-side for you. Whether you prefer this or this, it's completely up to you. Like I said, I kind of prefer the simpler version, but there isn't a right answer. So, moving on. We are now going to hoe these two bits of grass from in front of the stand and plant some beetroot seeds. We'll get back to those later. Next, we can stick some shelves along the stand. So I think that one here and two there is pretty good, but you can add more or less. Inside the stand, I am going to place... You know what? It's probably easier to break in. I am going to place a barrel here and a chest here. You can stick more stuff if you'd like. And then we can just seal that back up. And something that I'll probably do later on as well, but we can stick extra stock and storage like around the backs of these stands. So like in the form of brown shulker boxes, in the form of chests, we can make like crates by placing, say, like spruce slabs surrounded by signs. Kind of looks like an empty crate. We could even go like one step further and we can have like a couple of red glazed terracottas here, and then we can just slap some spruce trapdoors around these to look like, say, like barrels of apples, and equally so we could do a similar thing with light grey terracotta, and these would look like potatoes or something, you know, whatever it is you would like to add or not add. Like, there's plenty of ways to customize this. We can also add some item frames around the stand as well and fill them up with whatever you like, whether it's carrots, potatoes. We can fill the shelves in with different items as well. So like we can just do like carrots and I mean even beetroots. We can add a standing sign in front of this too. So right about here, we can just place a couple of dark oak trapdoors flipped up like either side, like this, and connect them in the middle at the top. Dark oak pressure plate here, and then we can reuse our banner from earlier. I guess that this is like really close to this one, so we could even shift it over like in this direction a little bit. It might look a little bit better there. That was starting to look a little bit too crowded in my opinion. But yeah, that's looking fantastic. Next, we will make a milk store. To position this, we will leave a gap of 2 from the edge of our fruit stand, so 1, 2, and then we will place a flipped up spruce trapdoor right here, and then 3 more, 1, 2, 3, extending across, and then we will flip up a trapdoor on the opposite side. We will then, behind the ends, place 1, 2, 3 spruce trapdoors flipped up like this on both the left and the right side. And then we will place rows of 1, 2, 3 spruce fence here and here with a barrier in between the top. We will then place spruce signs across the top of the fence / barrier with spruce shelves underneath, just like so. Then we will place spruce trapdoors across the top of the shelving unit, just like this. And we will place some milk buckets in the shelves. That's pretty much all we'll place in the shelves, to be honest. Then, a couple of item frames underneath, bucket here, milk bucket here, light grey shulker box here. Then I'm thinking a stone pressure plate here, tripwire hook here, white wool in front of this, kind of just to look like spilt milk, which I'm not going to cry over. And then we also want to place a brewing stand here, candle here, white candle here, and we can increase these by whatever amounts you like. And then that's the stand itself kind of done, but behind this you may want to stack like more cauldrons, you may want to stack like a couple more shulker boxes, like so. I was thinking a milk crate might be a cool idea, so like maybe just either 1 or 2 stripped warped hyphae, I don't even know how to pronounce that, in the ground, surrounded by warped trapdoors, because for some reason in my mind milk crates are blue/green, and in here we can just stack some different varieties of candles, and I think that's pretty good. And with the milk stand complete, we can now get to work on the cheese stand. To begin, we will leave a gap of 2 to the right of this spruce trapdoor, 1, 2, and then we will place 3 stripped spruce wood, 1, 2, 3, with spruce shelves on top, and then spruce trapdoors in front of the stripped spruce. We will then place item frames on top of the trapdoors and a couple underneath, just like so. Then, behind this, we will place 1, 2, 3 spruce fence here, and 1, 2, 3 here, with spruce fence gate in between the top pair of fence. We will then place yellow wool here, white wool to the right, and then yellow to the right of that. And then we will, I think what we will do is we will extend it 1 row forwards, like this, and then in front of the yellow walls and behind them as well, just at the back, we will place the bamboo slabs, and then in between them we will place pale oak slabs, just like this. And then we can add a bamboo hanging sign here, which is just going to say cheese. If you want to come up with a better name for the cheese stand than just writing the word cheese, then feel free. And you can place it either here or you can place it here. There might actually look a little bit better, so. And then we're just going to fill the item frames in with different varieties of yellow blocks, so sponge, terracotta, yellow concrete, and any yellow block really. And then across the back here you can just choose one block in particular if you like, and you can just fill the shelf with it. And that's pretty much the cheese stand. And then as per usual, I'm just coming over here to steal them. We can just grab some of the usual storage blocks, and we can just stick them piled up a bit here. Like, again, it doesn't have to be too crazy, just 1 or 2 of them. And in this case in particular, I'm actually going to have a pickup truck to the right here, which we can of course stick some cheese into, so we don't have to go mental. Next, we are going to move on to this side of our pathway, and we are going to make a honey stand. So to position this, we will start at the edge of the path here and count to the right 1, 2, and here we will place a stripped spruce wood, and then 2 more to the right, 1, 2. Then we will place a row of 3 spruce fence extending up behind each end, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Place a barrier block in between the top pair, and then place spruce signs in front of both the fence and the barrier. Then place a spruce shelf here in this position. Item frame here, honeycomb in the item frame, honey bottles in the shelf, and then a brewing stand on the end of the stand. Then we can place a barrel here with a lever in front of it, honey block built into the ground in front of that, and a bamboo pressure plate on top of the barrel. Then we can stick a couple of barrels, maybe we can stick them behind the shelf here. I kind of want them placed vertically like this. I guess I've got to hop up like so. Yeah, so that they're just kind of like off in the background, just like you can just see them like this. And then we are going to make a tree just to the left. So in this position, just a gap of 1 from the end of the path, we will place 1, 2, 3 oak wood extending up from the ground, and then we will place oak leaves all the way around the top oak wood, and then we will place a plus shape of leaves directly on top like this, so across the front, across the side, and then we can stick a bee nest just right here, and this is the honey stand. With the honey stand complete, we can now make the egg stand. So to make the egg stand, we leave a gap of 2 right of the honey stand, 1, 2, and then place 3 more stripped spruce wood, 1, 2, 3. Then once again, we place 3 spruce fence extending up out of the back of the left and right side, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, just like this. Then we actually need to place a barrier in between the top pair of spruce fence, and then we can place a row of spruce signs across the front of these. Place a spruce shelf here, and then fill the shelf in with a variety of eggs. I like just the regular egg, brown egg, and blue egg. And then on the middle of the stand, I like to place a couple of turtle eggs, and then an item frame here with a regular egg inside of it. Then in front of the stand, a daylight detector, which I will surround with spruce signs, just like this. And then behind the stand, I'm just going to chuck a couple of the usual suspects. So a couple of shulker boxers, and then maybe even like a chest on one of them as well. And whether they're like directly behind, kind of how I've just placed them, or if we just want to like shuffle them back a row, that is also very acceptable. But either way, this is the egg stand. Now that we have made the egg stand, we are just going to turn our attention to the opposite side here, where we first of all actually want to place a couple of oak shelves, just leaving a gap of 2 from the center of the fountain, so 1, 2, and then we will place 1, 2 oak shelves on top of each other, and I'm just going to load these up with pumpkin pies. Now to the right of this, I'm going to place a couple of spruce trapdoors flipped up like this, and then a couple of rows of spruce trapdoors extending across, and then flip some more up to meet them. And then some spruce signs both in front of and behind the trapdoors, just like so. And then I'm just going to stick item frames on here and place some biscuits. Then on the opposite side, I am going to place a dark oak fence gate open in this position, so it's kind of just in front of and to the left of these shelves, with a spruce trapdoor in front. Let's make that 2 actually. And then we'll flip some oak trapdoors just up in front of and behind here, stick a cake here, item frame here, and then just another cake inside. And this is, of course, just a nice selection of sweet stands. Now, I did consider adding something behind here as well to make it a tad more realistic. So I was thinking like an open fence gate or something to show that it's like a standing sign. Or I did consider something, say, like, I guess oak would be the best, like an oak stair to kind of like prop this up. Or now that I'm looking at it, maybe like an oak stair like this. But I think that that might actually be a little bit better. Now that we have completed all of our sweet stands, we can turn our attention over here. At the end of this path, we want to place 2 melon on top of each other. 1, 2. Then to the right of this, we will place a lime terracotta green terracotta, and then a green glazed terracotta, with spruce shelves on top of each of those blocks. We will then place melon slicers in these shelves, and then we will clad the terracotta blocks with spruce trapdoors. I'm also wondering whether to clad the very end here, or whether it would just look better to have the melon exposed. I'm starting to think it might look better. We could even stack another one in front, just like we did the pumpkins over there. And I was thinking that we could make a melon banner by throwing down a loom, open it up, line banner in there with yellow dye, and apply the pally pattern. Throw that in the loom with some lime dye and apply the bourgeois pattern. And I think that this is, you know, not a bad melon banner. I don't know where we're going to place this exactly. Maybe we could even like place it here, or maybe just off to the side like here. Or maybe we could repurpose some hay bales again. And where's my banner gone? Found it. And we could just place it here. I don't think that that's too bad, actually. So directly next to the melon stand, we will place 7 stripped spruce wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We will then extend backwards by 3, 1, 2, 3, and then all the way across the back and join all the way to the front. We will place 2 spruce fence on each corner, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we will place spruce fence gate. I'm not good at placing these, am I? We will place spruce fence gate in between the top pair of the spruce fence, just front to back, and this time I would highly recommend just leaving the front and back open, as I have here. We then want to connect the left and right sides together with alternating warped slabs and pale oak slabs, just like this. And we'll do that on the back as well. Then we'll stick some string in front of / behind our slabs, just like this, and then we will place corresponding carpet blocks in front of the slab, so white in front of the white and blue in front of the blue. What am I doing? Like this. Then we will place light blue wool in between the warped slabs, and we will place white wool in between the pale oak slabs to make the canopy above our stand, which is looking pretty good. Then we can actually decorate the stand a little bit. So first of all, I'm just going to place a row of 4 iron, 1, 2, 3, 4, extending along the inside of the front of the stand, and I'm just going to clad around the iron using spruce trapdoors like this, and I'm going to place some item frames along the iron as well, with some glass pane in front of all of these. Next, I'm going to hang an oak hanging sign here in this position, and I guess we'll just write fresh meat in it. I think that we need to use all of the lines. Perfect. I literally don't know what else to write in there. Then we can place a spruce shelf here, and then off to the side a stone cutter. Along the back we can have like a couple of chests or some barrels or something, and then a block of iron here, iron trapdoor here, stone button here, flower pot here, and then off to the side we can have, say, like a stone stairs, and we can add more item frames about the place if we like, but we're getting a bit crowded as it is. Then we can just fill all of these item frames in with whatever raw meat you would like. So I've just got to hop out now. There we go. And then we can do a similar thing here. So whatever you like, stick it in the item frames and the shelves, and it'll end up looking pretty good, I think. And then we don't really have room for this, like, directly next to it, if we are staying within the grid, but as usual, you know, always feel free to add more shulker boxes, chests, barrels, kind of like about the place, you know, in any quantities that you like, wherever it might make sense. These places are meant to be, I think, a little bit busy looking, and I think that we've certainly managed to achieve that. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially made every single stall/stand for our farmers market, which means we can now move on to part 3. The vehicles. Over here, somewhere in this corner, I want to make a tractor. I'm thinking that we line up with the edge of the grid and with the edge of this market stall. So in this position, we will place a black concrete powder with a smooth stone slab to the right of it, and then a black concrete powder right of that. We will then extend the smooth stone slab backwards by 3 rows. 1, 2, 3, just like this. Then we will place upside down polished black stone stairs left and right of that slab, and then upside down stairs in front, regular stairs on top facing the same way as the base. We will then place a rail in this position facing forwards with a minecart on top, 2 blue concrete in front with a ladder in front of that, then a pale oak sign left and right of the blue concrete, like so, and then a smooth stone slab here and here. I'm actually not sure if the tractor looks better with or without this, by the way. So like this, say, or like this. Now that I've seen both sides, I do think that the extra slab probably is the way to go, but feel free to change. We are then going to place a dark oak fence here, and then we've just got to place a polished deep slate stairs here in this position, and some stone buttons on the side of the front wheels. And there you go, that's a super simple tractor. Now that we have made the tractor, that leaves us with 2 more vehicles to add to our farmers market. A pickup truck. I would recommend placing the pickup truck directly next to the cheese stall. So right about here, I would say, and have it face backwards like this, with the end of the truck flipped down, and inside the truck we can have boxes, and we can even have some yellow blocks to represent cheese, and I think that this is a really nice addition. Now, for the box truck, I think that over here, once again, kind of like backing into the farmer's market, maybe we can even have it kind of like clip into the path a little bit like this. I think that this is a really good position for the truck. I can see that I have went over the grid by 1 row, so it may very well be that we do just have to back it in another row, but if you do have the room for it, I think that this looks pretty good. Now, the reason that I didn't show you how to make these block by block is because I have separate tutorials for each of these vehicles, which I will leave linked down below in the description, so you can find them nice and easily. Now, before we end this tutorial, ladies and gentlemen, there are a few finishing touches. The first of which is to add a 2x2 square of leaves in between the fresh meat market and these pots. We also have to water the fountain, like this, and we just have to grow these beetroots. And unless you do want to add some more trees around the edge of the build, or just more plant life in general, we've kind of finished. With those final details added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed this tutorial. However, this video is not over. We must now add our farmers market into our city. There really is only one part of the city for this build, and that is in the rural area. For now, I am going to move these houses out of the way and place the farmers market here. The new suburban suburbs are going to get moved back into the city soon, and this area in particular is going to have a renovation. And when it does, I want the farmers market to roughly be here. So until then, you may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labeled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Lightmatica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Minicity. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.